So here's a question. Which one of the world's problems you'd like to solve right now? Poverty, global hunger, pollution, unemployment, financial crisis, life's ultimate search for the meaning of existence, or how to export better, higher quality videos for your Instagram profile? Now I know what you're thinking. Let's start with something small, something achievable, something that we can do right here, right now. And hopefully, I'm here to help. Hi guys, I'm Janz. You must be thinking, why is this guy randomly teaching me video export settings? To tell you a little bit about me, I've been a video professional for the best part of the last 12 years and a YouTube creator for just over a year now. And I've been using Instagram as part of my online portfolio to publish and promote my work to my followers and clients. I'm also the creator of the In the Mood for Life series, and if you haven't checked them out yet, please do so. Click the link above and hope you enjoy these videos. And welcome to In the Mood for Videos, where I'll be publishing tutorials, tips and tricks and ideas and inspirations to hopefully help you create better videos for your profile, for your business, or for your brand. Instagram has been a legitimate problem I've been trying to solve for a while. While I was just starting out in the Instagram platform, I was also trying to understand Instagram's video settings. I failed multiple times on exporting videos in Instagram before, that whenever I scroll down in my history, I look down on some of the old videos I've been sharing, and some of them appear blurry or indistinct or just fuzzy. I was thinking back then whether I was using the wrong export settings, or maybe I did, but Instagram just downscaled the playback of my videos. Although let's put it out there, Instagram is notorious for downscaling the playback of your videos. Do remember that Instagram does not really play your videos in high definition, unless of course you're publishing on IGTV. So whenever you publish a post, a reel, or a story, they're all played in standard definition. So what we're trying to solve here is to find the best possible quality of a standard definition video that we can feed to the Instagram platform so it plays it well. In any other case, it's just really awful when you publish a video that you worked so hard for and ending up really fuzzy and blurry on Instagram just because you don't have the right export settings for Instagram to process correctly. That no matter how many times you've tried, Instagram still plays your videos in a shitty resolution, compromising your brand, the quality of your work, and your profile. Or worse, even harming your business or your campaign, which is the real problem I'm alluding to. After months of experimenting and trying out different and multiple video export settings, I think I finally found the sweet spot. The right video settings that would make Instagram go, you know what? I like you. You worked hard for this. I shall accept your sacrifice, aka video settings. I shall let you publish and prosper. So whether you're an amateur or a pro, an entrepreneur with a brand or a business, or a content creator that's just starting out and figuring out how to publish videos on Instagram the best way possible, do lend me your attention as it might help you avoid all the unnecessary Instagram frustrations and even regrettably throwing your phone out of the window, which is quite a true-to-life possibility. So let's start this tutorial series on Instagram. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to export your videos using Adobe's Premiere Pro CC for anyone who's subscribed to the software. But for those who haven't, don't panic. I completely understand those who work with a budget firmly placed in their mind, or those who are just starting out and don't really do any paid subscription. I created chapters for this tutorial, so feel free to skip to the later part of the video, and I'll be showing you how to export videos on 2 free editing softwares that you can get your hands on: DaVinci Resolve and Shotcut. But before we go into exporting videos, it's best to establish which formats and aspect ratios we're covering and exporting for Instagram. For Instagram posts, I'll be showing you how to export in portrait format, which is the 4:5 aspect ratio, and also the square format, which is the 1:1 aspect ratio. I'll also be covering vertical aspect ratio, which is 9:16, which is great for Instagram Reels and Stories. And finally, the widescreen 16:9 aspect ratio, which we can use for IGTV. Do take note, I won't be covering widescreen aspect ratio for Instagram post, as this format is not really optimized well on Instagram, and I personally don't really use this. As you can see, Instagram doesn't really have the rotate function in posts, unless it's on IGTV, so your video appears smaller in scale. It turns out that the 4:5 portrait size have a much higher engagement rate than the landscape size, so that's that. Okay, enough of this long-winded introduction. let's go to our desktop and start the tutorial, shall we? So let's jump right into Adobe Premiere Pro. Once you've got the software application open, you can click into New Project, and you can call this IG Post and store it to somewhere that's easily accessible for you. So for me, I created a folder on my desktop called Instagram, and I store it on a folder called Project. So leave everything else and just click OK. So you need to create a new sequence formatted to the aspect ratio of the Instagram post, which is 4:5. You can simply just go to the File, click New, and Sequence. Here in this window, you can find all different settings for videos. So you can just simply choose the digital SLR and the 1080 pixel with 25 frames per second. That depends on where you are in the world. For example, if you're in the US, the standard frame rate is 30 FPS. Or in Europe, it's usually 25 FPS. It depends on what settings you captured your footage. I tend to go for 25 FPS myself, so I'll just select that. And I name the sequence IG Post 4:5. Here you can see it's still on widescreen, so we've got to adjust that to reflect the vertical format. So simply go here on the project file, right click, and then you'll see sequence settings. Simply adjust the frame size of your video, which in horizontal I would go for 1200, and in the vertical I go for 1500. So that reflects the 4:5 aspect ratio for Instagram. Leave everything else and click OK. There we go. We can see the portrait format. Now, you need to fill your timeline with your edit, so import all the footage that you need into your sequence. Right-click on the project box and click New Bin, which allows you to create a new folder, and simply name that folder as Footage. In this tutorial, I've chosen 6 footage that I'd like to work with. I have this footage from this intro video I created last year, which I thought might be appropriate for this tutorial. Simply highlight all the files and drag and drop to your footage folder. And voila, it's all there in your project files. Now you have all the footage here, and all you need to do is edit them in your heart's desire. Once you drag all your footage to your timeline, there's a window that would ask you whether you'd like to change the clip settings to your sequence. Just simply click Keep Existing Settings. Do remember that when you import your footage into your timeline, depends on how you film the footage, whether in 4K resolution or HD resolution, you would still need to adjust every single footage to the size of the aspect ratio that we've chosen. So to make it easy for yourself as well, you can copy the settings to the rest of the edit. So you can choose one footage that you've edited, go to Effects, Controls, and copy the motion by pressing Command-C on the keyboard or right-click Copy, and highlight the rest of the footage that you want to resize. Paste the settings on the rest of the footage by simply pressing Command-V on the keyboard. Now, once you have your video ready for export, simply drag this blue marker at the very beginning of your timeline and press I on your keyboard, and then drag it all the way to the very end by holding Shift in your keyboard and your mouse straight to the very end. It should simply snap at the end of your timeline and press O on your keyboard. That means all of the highlighted parts will be the one that will be exported into your video. So now we're in the exporting part of this tutorial. So go and click File on the tab and go down all the way to Export Media. You can simply do this by pressing Command-M on your keyboard. So now we have this export window setting that we will need to adjust. So this is how I export my videos to Instagram. I've actually tried quite a few settings that other video creators have recommended, and unfortunately they didn't work for me. So I had to experiment and fine-tune different video settings, including different frame sizes and bitrate numbers. And the settings that I use right now work well for my videos. So I hope it does for you too. So in the format, just simply leave H.264, which will be the codec that will help you export into MP4. And on the preset here, I choose YouTube 1080 Full HD. This is usually a setting that comes with Adobe Premiere Pro for YouTube, and they don't really provide one for Instagram. However, once we select this setting, we can simply adjust a few aspects of it just to fine-tune a little bit to suit the desired setting we want for Instagram. So the first thing you need to do is click Match Source. As you can see, it completely adapted to the frame size of your video. So that's now 1200 by 1500. You just scroll down, click Render at maximum depth, then go further below on the encoding settings. Make sure you choose High as your profile, and on the level, select 4.2. This is a good middle ground setting that keeps your video as sharp as possible, but still on a decent quality that Instagram is able to correctly play. And then scroll further down, leave everything else. Here on the bitrate settings, make sure you choose VBR to pass on bitrate encoding. And then it provides you an automatic 16 target Mbps. Just simply change that to 20 target bitrate, and the maximum target bitrate would be 24. Make sure you tick Use Maximum Render Quality, and hopefully that will enhance your video. The estimated file size it says here is 102 megabytes, which is still pretty reasonable for Instagram uploads. Do remember that Instagram only accepts a maximum 60 seconds of footage as an Instagram post, so make sure your edit is well below that mark. I have the simple rule that if your edit is within 30 to 40 seconds length, I choose to use 20 Mbps for target bitrate and 24 for maximum bitrate. However, if you use a full 60-second edit, the file might be bigger than this. It will probably range around 140 to 150. So I simply decrease it down to 16 to 20. And you will be well in the range of around 100 megabytes, which is still a reasonable file size for Instagram to process. I highly recommend saving the preset that we just created because it will make your life a lot easier next time around. So whenever you want to export any video for Instagram, it's just a matter of selecting the preset and exporting instantly. So just simply go to this icon, Save Preset, click on it, and let's name this Instagram Post. And you should be able to see the preset that you created here, Instagram Post. So whenever you export a video in the future, it will be much, much easier because you've saved everything, all the presets that we've just created, into your profile. So once you have that, just click Export. Once your file has been exported, you should be able to find the exported file on your source folder. Here it is. And now it's ready to be uploaded to Instagram. Now let's move on to exporting the Instagram square format, which is 1:1 aspect ratio or 1200 by 1200 pixels. We can do exactly the same steps when we created the first post. So go to File, click New, Sequence, choose the same settings and name this IG Post 1:1. Click OK. Then you can right-click on this sequence and click Sequence Settings. And here on the frame size, you can just adjust it to 1200. 1200. Click OK. Now you can see it's now in a square format. What I do is simply go to the previous sequence and just copy everything you have in your edit by pressing Command A, which highlights everything, and then Command C for copy. And then go back to the square post, click on the timeline, and paste by pressing Command V. There you have it. You should have it in perfect square. In case you want to move things around, you can simply just adjust each one to your liking. So go to Effects Controls, adjust position, make sure they look perfectly placed on your square, and then Either you can click File and Export Media, or simply just press Command M on your keyboard, which allows you to export directly. Remember that settings or the preset that you stored earlier, that will come very much in handy right here. So here in the preset, just select the preset that we created, Instagram post, and you should be able to see it's all placed in there, which makes it a lot quicker and saves you a lot of time. You don't have to tweak anything else. So name your file as accordingly and store it to your folders and click export. And here we go. Your file is ready to be uploaded to Instagram. Now, let's move to exporting for Instagram Stories and Reels. Stories and Reels both use the same aspect ratio of 9:16, the vertical format. If you film vertically on your phone, then that's perfect. You can upload it directly to your Stories or Reels from your mobile phone. However, if you film some footage on your DSLR camera, we'd need to format that footage first to fit the desired frame size for Stories and Reels. So let's create a story and reel for Instagram. On Premiere Pro, click File, New, Sequence, and let's name this IG Story and Reel 9:16. Click OK. And then we need to adjust the frame size. And so right-click on your sequence, click Sequence Settings, and just change your frame size to 1080 by 1920. So now that should reflect your vertical aspect ratio of 9:16. Click OK. And now we can see the vertical frame size for a story format. So now what you need to do is take all the footage that you need into your timeline. Since this is a much taller frame size, you'd need to adjust every single footage to fit the height of the aspect ratio. Don't forget to do it more efficiently. You can adjust one and then just copy the settings to the rest of your edit. Some of your footage might need some adjustment on the placement, so adjust the position of each one to your liking. Once you're all ready, select all of your edit, and then press Command M on your keyboard. And you can use the same preset we've saved earlier, Instagram post. Leave everything else. That should reflect the exact settings we're looking for to export into a story and reel. Just name your file and store it in your folder, and then save and click export. Just remember that as soon as the file is exported, you need to transfer that file to your mobile phone so you can upload it on Instagram as a story or reel. Now let's get to exporting for IGTV. This is a special one because this is where you can upload an actual high-definition video without Instagram screwing up the quality too much. IGTV is also a place where you can fully showcase your widescreen aspect ratio that allows users to rotate their mobile phone so they can watch it as you filmed it. I say, if you feel the need to impress, upload an IGTV. So to get this IGTV going, all we need to do is create a new sequence. So click File, New, and then Sequence. You can use the same settings and just name this IGTV 16:9. Remember, on your sequence settings, make sure that your frame size reflects the 16:9 aspect ratio, which is the widescreen format. So that's 1920 by 1080 pixels. So get all the footage that you need into your timeline, but before you start your edit, you have to remember this guideline for IGTV. A thing to remember though, your video must be at least 1 minute long, and you can upload anything that is less than 60 minutes. And the file size shouldn't be any bigger than 3.6 gigabytes. So here, I have an edit that's a minimum of 1 minute, so I'll be able to export it now. So press Command M on your keyboard, then use your preset, Instagram post, leave all the settings that it is, and name and store your file in your folder, and then once you're done, click Export. Another good thing about IGTV is that it allows you to select a cover image, and I'll be showing you how to do that in Photoshop and Canva. To create an IGTV cover, I use Adobe Photoshop, but just in case you're not subscribed to Adobe, there's always Canva for you. So let's start with creating a cover in Photoshop. So create a new project. On your preset details, make sure that you've chosen pixels and use 1080 pixels as your width and 1920 as your height, and then name it IGTV cover. On the resolution, do change it for 300 pixels resolution to really get the best resolution out of your image. On the color profile, I choose sRGB as it's a web-friendly color profile. And once it's all good, I just click create. Now you have your canvas. All you need to do is to find the photo that you'd like to use as the cover image. So I have this photo ready. I'll just open this in Photoshop and bring it to my canvas. The size is still bigger than my canvas size, so all I need is to adjust and resize that to fit the height and width of my IGTV cover. So I press Command T on the keyboard and just resize it. Now, one thing to remember about posting IGTV video is that if you want your IGTV to be displayed in your Instagram feed, do bear in mind that the Instagram feed is in a square aspect ratio. So here's a little trick that I do on Photoshop. I simply create a square box, and then I reduce the opacity so I can still see the photo behind it. And I just simply drag it to place just right on the middle of my canvas. Photoshop usually allows you to move and snap into guides, and you'll know exactly where the middle is. Once it's all in place, you can roughly see what your IGTV cover would look on your Instagram feed. Once you're happy with that and you're ready to export, you just need to disable the view of the rectangle we created, click File in the tab, and then click Save As. Store this image into your folder, and do remember to save it as a JPEG format. And then click Save. Make sure the quality is at number 12 on the maximum level, so you get the best resolution, and then click OK. Those who don't have an Adobe subscription, you can use Canva by going to canva.com. This is perhaps my most favorite online design platform because it's just so easy to use and works like a pro. You can also create a free account to start with and don't have to pay for anything, so that's incredible. So here, you need to create a new design and click Custom Size. So we just need to enter 1080 pixels by 1920 pixels in height and create new design. Now what you can do is find that photo you want to use as a cover image and then simply drag and drop to Canva to upload your photo. Click on the photo and then it would appear on your canvas. Then you can resize the photo to fit your frame height. Just like in Photoshop, you are also able to determine what is the center of your photo according to your Instagram feed. So I create a square box by clicking on Elements and then choose that square vector, and it helps you create a box. And you can resize it and place it accurately right at the center and adjust the opacity by clicking on this icon above. And it should allow you to see roughly how your IGTV cover would look in your Instagram feed. Also, do remember that if you want to put any title or any text at all, make sure to place everything you need to show in your Instagram feed within the square box. When everything is good to go, just click Download. Use the file size PNG because that's what Canva can provide you with the highest resolution. And then click Download. Store it to your folder. And that should be ready to be uploaded to your Instagram IGTV cover. So to upload an IGTV, simply drag and drop your rendered file into the IGTV drag and drop box. And while that's uploading, you can select the cover for your IGTV, click on the edit, and find the cover photo that you created. Fill in all the details that you need and make sure you tick that box, post a preview. That means it will allow your IGTV to appear on your profile and Instagram feed. If you don't want it to appear on your feed, just simply untick that box. Another good thing about this is that if you have a Facebook page connected to your Instagram, you can simply tick that IGTV and Facebook page, and it will automatically upload it directly to your Facebook page. Once it's all finished uploading, simply click post and it should appear in your Instagram profile. So as a bonus feature for this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to export videos with 2 free softwares that you can easily download directly from the internet. So let's start with DaVinci Resolve 17. You can get DaVinci Resolve through Blackmagic Design, the folks who created the software. They created this primarily with professional editors in mind. However, they also released a free version of it so anyone can access and use it. So once you open DaVinci Resolve, click New Project. Let's name this project IG Post. Click Create. Make sure along these tabs you are clicked on Media. then the first thing you need to do is to adjust your project settings. So go to File, click Project Settings, and then here you will see the timeline resolution. So with this, we need to adjust the frame size. So let's put 1200 by 1500. That would reflect the 4:5 aspect ratio. For the frame rate, depending on what frame settings you filmed your footage in, so for me, I choose 25, and then I simply click Save. Now the 4:5 aspect ratio is now reflected on your sequence settings. So drag and drop all the footage that you need into your media window. And once you're there, go to the tab below and choose Edit. This is where you can start editing your footage. Do remember that when you filmed your footage in widescreen, just simply adjust each one to fit the frame size. So on this video properties, all you need to do is simply adjust the zoom function and adjust the position accordingly. How to do this easily is you can hover over the number and press on your mouse cursor and just drag it left and right. So you can see it zooms very quickly. And the same with the position. Once that's all ready and you've color graded it and you've edited it to your heart's desire, you can now then export your video for Instagram. So to export in DaVinci Resolve, you have to go to these tabs underneath and click Deliver. This is where you export your video. So here on your left-hand side, you will have all the details that you will need to get the right settings for Instagram video. In DaVinci Resolve, it also does not provide an Instagram setting. So we'd have to adjust certain aspects of it so we can upload it to Instagram correctly. So this is how I export in DaVinci Resolve. Simply click Custom, and I'll name this to IG Post 4:5. Here, make sure Export Video is ticked, and on the format, leave it as MP4 with your codec as H.264. And on the resolution, it should reflect the sequence setting we created earlier and the frame rate as well. With the quality, make sure you restrict it to 20,000 kbs. That means your video is restricted to 20 megabit per second. When you're encoding profile, make sure you select high. Your entropy mode, leave it as auto. Leave everything else and it should be ready to be rendered. Add to render queue and simply click render. And there we go. You should have the file here, ready to be uploaded to Instagram. When you want to change the frame size to an Instagram square, simply go back to your edit and then go to File, Project Settings. And here we just need to adjust the frame size to 1200 by 1200. That reflects the square 1:1 aspect ratio. Click Save. Now it should be reflected on your timeline. What you need to do is simply adjust each footage to fit with your square format. And now that should be ready to render. Do exactly the same thing, click Deliver. And here, use exactly the same settings we used to render for Instagram post. For a story or reel format, go back again to your edit. Edit your project settings to reflect a 1080 by 1920 vertical aspect ratio. Click Save. In the same process, adjust your footage to fit the frame size. There we go. That should be ready to be exported. So click Deliver and leave everything else and export your video in exactly the same settings as we did before. And finally, we have IGTV. So you have to go back to your edit, click Project Settings, and this time we just have to reverse these two numbers. So 1920 by 1080. To put everything quickly back to your widescreen aspect ratio, all you need to do is simply click its footage and click this clock icon right at the very upper right hand corner of your video settings and just click it. It will simply revert it back to its original state. And here you're ready to publish. So click deliver. With IGTV, I leave all the settings the same except for one thing. The quality, I change it to 24,000. That is equal to 24 megabyte per second. And then add to render queue. And you should have your IGTV video ready. Do remember that your edit must be a minimum of 1 minute to a maximum of 16 minutes to be able to upload to IGTV. So that's it for DaVinci Resolve. It's pretty easy. Now let's move on to another software, which is called Shotcut. It's so easy to use that even those without any editing background can use it so easily. You can get this software at shotcut.org and download it directly and install to your desktop. So once you open the software, here in the new project, make sure you're storing your project folder into your desired folder. So we'll save it here. And let's name this project IG Post. And then in the video mode, let's choose Custom and click Add. Here, let's name this IG Post 4x5. And then the resolution, I've already pre-filled it, so it's 1200 by 1500. And it's showing you the aspect ratio of 4:5. I mentioned before that it depends on what frame rate you've filmed your footage in. So for me, this would be 25 frames per second, and I'll just leave everything else. So click OK, and then click Start. It looks empty, but you need to click on one of these tabs. So you have your playlist, and here it says drag and drop your footage, your items, so that you'll have it in your media playlist. So go to your Finder, take all your footage to your media playlist, and then it should all be here. So what you need to do is to simply edit it directly in your timeline. Once you imported all your footage, make sure that you're using the correct aspect ratio. Shotcut doesn't really do it automatically for you, so you have to change that manually. So on the tab, click Settings, go to Video Mode, and then choose Custom. Now you should be able to see the settings that you created there earlier. Simply click on that, or if you haven't, just click Add. And let's name this IG Post 4x5 with a resolution of 1200 by 1500. The aspect ratio would be 4:5. Leave everything else and click OK. Now you should be able to see the correct frame size on your timeline. Now it's all a matter of adjusting your footage to fit the frame height. So to do that, click on your footage, go to your tab and click Filter. Click on the plus icon, it says Add a Filter, and then on your Video tab, right below is a function called Size, Position, and Rotate. Select that. There you should be able to see the settings. Now all you need to do is adjust the clip with its scale. Now to do that is just adjust the zoom function. You can also adjust the placement too by adjusting the position. You can be efficient and just copy this setting to the rest of your edit. Now what you do is click on the copy icon. It says copy the filters. Now once you've done that, you just go to the rest of the footage, and then under filters, click on the paste icon. And you should be able to paste the settings with the correct frame height. You can even go to the screen and adjust the positioning. And once it's all good, you're ready to export. So on your tab, click Export. On your video presets, make sure you've selected H.264 high profile. Select MP4 as your format. And then on your video settings, make sure your resolution is 1200 by 1500 and your aspect ratio 4:5. Or you can leave that as 1200 by 1500. On your codec, make sure you select Default for Format. And then on your rate control, select Constrained VBR. And then the bitrate, select 20 megabit. And next up is quality. Make sure that's adjusted to 100%. And then click Export File. It should be able to name and store your file to your folder. And then on the right-hand side of your screen, on the Jobs tab, you should be able to track the progress of your export. And there you go, there should be your exported file for Instagram. Now let's export the Instagram square format. To do that, go to your settings, click video mode, and then in your custom, click add. And here we'll name this IG post 1x1. And then simply change the resolution to 1200 by 1200. The aspect ratio would be 1x1. Leave everything else and click OK. There we go. You should be able to see the square format on your screen. Simply adjust every single one to fit your frame height. Do exactly the same procedure. You can adjust the zoom, position your footage, or you can even do exactly the same thing where you can copy the settings or the filter into the footage by clicking the copy icon and going to the other footage and clicking on the paste icon. So you should be able to copy your filters and simply adjust each one to the positioning of the frame. And now you're ready to render. So on your tabs, click export. Make sure you select H.264 high profile on your video presets and MP4 as your format. On your video settings, make sure resolution is on a square format, so it's 1200 by 1200. And then in your codec, default for format will be your codec. Leave everything else, constrain VBR, 20 megabit, quality of 100%, and then export file. So save this as IG post 1x1, and then save. That should be exporting for you. Now, for the Instagram story and Reels, do exactly the same procedure. Go to Shotcut settings, on video mode, custom, click add, and here let's name it IG story and Reel 9x16. And let's change that to 1080 by 1920. That would be 9x16. Click OK. Now you have the story format, so all you need to do is adjust all your footage. So click the footage and the filter icon and simply drag and adjust your footage to fit the story. Another way to do this is select one. On your video settings, click on the copy icon and then paste it to your other footage by simply clicking paste filter. You have to delete the previous one and click paste. Once that's ready, click export. Choose the same preset again. Make sure everything reflects your frame size. 1080 by 1920. Then codec, default for format, constrain VBR, leave everything else. Let's name this IG story Reel. Now for IGTV, let's do this one. Shotcut settings, video mode. And here you can simply select HD 1080 25 FPS or 2997 FPS if your footage was filmed that way. There we go. And we should be able to adjust the footage by simply removing the size, position, and rotate settings we pasted on this footage. So click the subtract button for removing the filter, and it should be able to revert it back to its original size for the frame. There we go. So here, you click export, choose the same preset, H.264 high profile. Your video format would be MP4, and make sure that resolution is 1920 by 1080. And in the codec, make sure you choose default for format. And here, you can leave constrain VBR, but on the bitrate, you can adjust it slightly higher. You can put it at 25 megabit. Make sure your quality is 100%, and then simply export file. This one, we'll name it IGTV. Click save. There are two ways to upload your videos in Instagram. One is the traditional way, which is using your mobile phone, or the other one is on your desktop. I recommend uploading your video through your desktop, and that's how I do it myself, especially because the connection is much more stable. If you have your Instagram connected to your Facebook with your business or creator profile, you can create a post there on the Creator Studio. And it even allows you to select a cover image for your video, which would look good in your feed. Now, I'll be showing you how I upload my videos on Instagram through Facebook. Just go to your Facebook profile and on the search box, just search Creator Studio. and you should be able to find it there right on the top of the search. So click on Creator Studio, and you'll find this dashboard. On here, select the Instagram icon to make sure that you're actually posting on your Instagram profile. Do remember, make sure to connect your Instagram account to Facebook, and you should have either a business profile or a creator profile. So here you can see all the content that you've posted recently. I'll just go to video and I can see the list of all the video posts I've posted recently. So here, you simply create a post, choose Instagram feed. It practically works the same to Instagram, where you can write the captions, you can add locations, and this is where you drag and drop your content. The best thing about doing it this way is that, number one, it makes your life really easy. You're already on your desktop, so you might as well do it on the same place. Number two, on your desktop, your connection is also more stable. Especially uploading a 100 megabyte video will be just a breeze. So that's how I do it. So here you can just simply click Add Content, and from File Upload, and just look for your rendered file. Another reason why I love posting on Instagram through Facebook's Creator Studio is that it actually allows you to choose a cover image. If you're uploading a video file through your phone, it does not actually allows you to select a cover image unless you're posting as Reels or IGTV. However, if you're uploading through Creator Studio, it allows you an extra function of choosing your cover thumbnail, which is amazing. You can either choose which frame you'd like to use from your video, or you can simply upload your own custom image. Here, I've prepared a photo for this video, and there it is. It just allows you that extra control of what you'd like to display on your Instagram feed, which is quite nice. So you just carry on the rest of it and click Publish. Then it should show on your feed on Instagram, just like when you upload on your mobile phone. However, if your account is a personal one and not connected to any business or creator account, the way to do it is to upload your video through your mobile phone. The only extra step you need is to transfer your video from your desktop to your mobile phone. If you are an iOS or Apple user, you can simply do that using AirDrop. However, if you're an Android user like me, you can download an app called Send Anywhere. And this is the quickest way I can think of transferring that file straight to your mobile phone. You can get a free account, feel free to download it online, or you can even do it directly from the browser. So what you can do is you can find the rendered file and upload it directly to Send Anywhere. Or you can also do it this way. You can install the app directly to your desktop, and you can just simply drag and drop your files through the window. And once you have this QR code, scan it with your mobile phone, and you should be able to receive it directly to your phone. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope that helped you in exporting and uploading better quality content videos for your Instagram profile. You might be actually trying to solve the world's problems or advocating for a greener earth, and you're using Instagram as a tool to educate as many as you can. However, you might be Captain Planet and you're uploading fuzzy videos on Instagram. Then your impact is already diminished. Remember, Instagram is a tool to use to your own advantage, and one way to make it work for you is to have the right video settings. By exporting better quality videos, you're already enhancing your exposure and your engagement, and the message you're trying to convey will have a much better impact to anyone watching your clear videos. And if you're just starting out and wanted to dive into learning the essentials of video content creation, I have a Udemy course which is available right now for an incredibly reasonable price. Anyone can afford it. That's it for this video. I'm really happy to be part of your learning. I myself love learning because I'm forever a student of life. I really believe that the best things we learn are those that we figure out ourselves. And if you do have any suggestions or recommendations on a much better video export settings, please do leave a comment below and I'd be really happy to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Happy learning always, and see you in the next video.